Okay, so Melbourne Water undertakes revegetation to enhance the health of rivers. So basically, trees provide habitat for birds and other animals that live near the waterway. They also provide shade to keep the water cool. At the moment, under the Healthy Waterways strategy, Melbourne Water is revegetating about 802 kilometres of revegetation. That's both sides of the waterway. Okay, so normally when Melbourne Water do revegetation, they do use tube stock, which is small plants from a nursery that are grown to a certain height and then planted in the ground. Direct seeding is usually a prepared piece of ground where seeds are sown directly onto the ground and the seeds come up when they're ready.
The key aim for this project is to try and figure out whether or not direct seeding can be a cost-effective means of revegetation for Melbourne Water in its riparian revegetation program. So what we're trying to address is some of the key gaps around why direct seeding may not be as effective in the field. People have used it and haven't necessarily had reliable outcomes. So we're trying to understand the management implications. What can we do as land managers to make direct seeding more effective? So what sort of site prep do we need to do? What sort of weed management both before sowing and particularly after sowing, and other sorts of management interventions that are required. And we're also trying to understand how to make the actual process of establishment in the field from sown seed more effective, because we get very low rates of germination and seedling establishment. This project's got two components. We've got a series of research trials. We've got one at the Bass River near Grantville, one on the Cardinia retarding basin in Beaconsfield, and one at Emu Creek in the north of the city. And we're testing different management activities, so different weeding techniques, fencing, different seasons and different times of sowing. And then the second component is about monitoring projects that Melbourne Water's already got in the ground and trying to understand what the outcomes are from direct seeding that Melbourne Water's done as part of its operational program. What we'd like to be able to provide Melbourne Water managers with is some idea of the sorts of management interventions they'll need to undertake at each site to make direct seeding more reliable, and they'll get the outcomes that they're seeking to achieve, so that we can kind of say to them, if you've got a site with these characteristics, then these are the sorts of management interventions you'll need to do to get good outcomes. The preliminary findings that we've had from the Bass River site are that it's incredibly important to do the weeding after you've sown the plants, and what we're finding is that hand weeding seems to be more effective than doing spraying at the same intervals. We're also really noticing how important it is to protect sites from herbivores, and that includes the whole range of exotic species, deer, through to wallabies and kangaroos, and that's something that Melbourne Water is increasingly starting to understand, is how important that protection is for all of their revegetation programs, not just direct sowing.
Ideally, Melbourne Water would embrace direct seeding and deliver a large proportion of the revegetation targets that we need through direct seeding. Direct seeding is it's looking like it will be substantially lower cost, so that means that we'll be able to deliver more areas of revegetation at a lower cost. So that's a great outcome for the environment, but also for Melbourne Water's bottom line.